Hey, what's happening everyone? This is Tranadashwai here, doing my first ever album discussion with two friends of mine, Silver Storm.
Hi!
And Sir Tamachee.
Hello!
And I'm going to just refer to them as Gus and Tamisha from now on, because screw YouTube names and...
Those are our names.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Now, I have done album reviews in the past for different albums from NateWantsToBattle and Amelie and stuff like that, but since the Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Collection from NateWantsToBattle is about to release, and all the songs are a collection of songs from he's released in the past, including 3 new ones, I've decided instead of reviewing them because I've already heard them a dozen times, I would do a discussion. And what good is the discussion when it's just one person, so I thought I'd bring some friends into this. So, the way this is going to work, I'm just going to play 30 seconds of one of the tracks for you viewers, and then the three of us are going to discuss what we enjoy and like about the song, and Gus, the musician, might actually give us a little bit of insight towards the song musically. We'll see how it goes. This is our first attempt at doing something like this. So, you two ready for this?
We have no clue what we're doing. Let's fucking go.
Alright. Alright. Sounds good. Sounds like we're prepared. Alright.
Nice.
Yeah, so let's get going with the first song, Mangled.
It's what we're made to do. You act like we're to blame. I'm lost to find yourself when really it makes us the same. A couple hours, but it's feeling like days. You're running out of power, leave you mangled and wanting away. Step 1, check lights and empty out the halls. Did you hear that? There's banging in the walls. Enjoy your new job.
So, is Mangled Nate's first FNaF song? Do either of you know?
Yes it is. It was from, yeah. I remember, I think it was actually what got me, or like one of the songs that got me into Nate. It was like 2014 when it came out first. The one you'll hear now is the remastered version. And I must say, the remastered version is infinitely better than the original version. So, anyway, continue, Trent.
There's one thing I do recall is he had an album for the original version with a bunch of songs he released then, literally titled Mangled. And, yeah, then he did...
That was a weird album, for sure. I remember when it came out, because it was just kind of... It was a bunch of original songs he did that were all kind of thrown together. It included, like, the first 4, I think, Five Nights at Freddy's songs, so, like, from Mangled until Nightmare, and then, like, a bunch of other random ones he did, like Hold On To You and Let Me Try and all these other ones. But it was just, like, so it didn't really feel like an album, it was just, like, a weird amalgamation of songs that Nate had written.
Tamisha, what's your opinion on Mangled? What do you think of the song?
Well, it's one of the first not the first Nate song I've heard, because I've listened to him way before the Five Nights at Freddy songs, but yeah. It's one of my favourite ones as well, and the remastered I like a lot better.
Yeah, one thing I've definitely noticed since he's like gotten a bit more professional with it, and since the remastered, a lot of the songs are a lot more cleaner from what I've noticed. Like they're just sound better in a lot of different ways.
The difference is his producer. The original version of Mangled, Nate produced himself, and there's just a huge difference in the remastered version.
Yeah, I like the original as well. Like, I have it on my iTunes, but without a doubt, the remastered is infinitely better. But,
Sounds infinitely better. It's the same song, but it just sounds so much better.
I like the start intro to the new one a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. The music video with, Matt Pat was interesting, though. That was
I thought that was funny.
That was great.
Just had face paint on, and he was just like, "Oh yes, I am Mangled. I'm going to screw you up, Game Theory." No, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, Mangled. It is, since it's his like original, like his first ever FNaF song. Despite the fact it was on Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it is, in my opinion, like one of the best he's released. I really like it, and I don't really see any faults with it. I'm surprised that the fact that it's a remaster is also interesting, and the original was good. But yeah, I think we can all agree that Mangled is one of the best.
Mangled is it's a perfect example. It's a perfect example of how simple songs, like how songs don't have to be complex to be good. There's a lot of repeating parts in Mangled. It actually, like, the verses only are 2 different chords. That's it. So the verses are only 2 different chords. It doesn't have, like, songs don't have to be complex to be good. They can be simple, to the point, and make sense. And that's all it has to do. And there's just a lot of, like, with this song, it was like the first time I'd ever been introduced to, like, the rhythmic, like, offbeat guitar that Nate and a lot of other rock artists like to do. It, like, blew my mind at the time, you know? Because it was, like, that, like, basically what I mean is, like, the intro of the song. Like, when that, like, or whatever, you know, etc., etc. It, like, blew my mind when I first heard it. And it, like, it's still, like, an absolute headbanger, like, 4 years later. So, yeah, Mangled's great.
I can headbang to it without a doubt. Alright, no problem. And that is Mangled. We'll get on to the next song, No More.
You can break down my lights and my doors, but I won't let you back in no more, no more. I'm sick of getting stuck in the same routine. Time me up, put me into a suit, but I'll never ever be like you, no. I know what happened here and you can't erase your past.
No More. What?
Alright.
Tamachee, you seem to
Yes.
like this one. What's your opinion on this one?
Well, it was one of my favorite ones, and I actually made a video with the whole lyrics popping up on the screen, and it took me over like 5 hours to finish the video, and I don't have it anymore. But it was a really cool video, so. And yeah, so it's one of my favorite ones. And I'm getting a phone call, so I shall be back.
I was gonna say, someone's phone is vibrating.
Alright, Gus, what about yourself? What do you think?
I like No More. I think it's interesting. It's because, well, a couple reasons. One, it's actually from what I was about to say it was the only one from the viewpoint of the security guard, but that's Madness is also from the viewpoint of the security guard. So there's 2. It's one of the 2 that are from that viewpoint, which is an interesting viewpoint to write a song from.
Yeah, it's good. It's not one of my favorites. There are a few select...
I don't think it's one of my favorites either, but it's still good.
Yeah, there are a few select on this track list which I can definitely say are like songs I've listened to on repeat continuously. No More isn't one of them, but it's still very good in my opinion. Like, yeah, it's definitely more tame and it's still very enjoyable. I like this song.
Yeah. One thing that I found really interesting is that Nate has stated multiple times in, like, different Q&As. I've seen it, like, you know, sometimes he'll be at the airport, like, oh, Q&A on Twitter or whatever. He said several different times that this is his favorite song he's ever written, which
really?
is interesting to me. Yeah. That was a while ago. It was before Paid in Exposure. So that could have changed with Paid in Exposure.
That makes sense. That makes sense, because I just remember the lyrics.
He said, yeah, go on.
The lyrics of No More are referenced in his song Sandcastle Kingdom.
Sandcastle Kingdoms, yes. That one, yeah. That I was literally about to bring that up. So that one part in the second verse, is repeated again. It's, well, maybe one day you'll find humanity, but until then, don't you dare say that we are the same.
Yeah.
So
I
those
remember.
are at the very end of not just the song Sandcastle Kingdoms, but the album Sandcastle Kingdoms. So there was very clearly some kind of deeper meaning to that went beyond Five Nights at Freddy's when Nate wrote this song.
I remember when I heard that in Sandcastle Kingdoms, that blew my mind. I was like,
Yes,
Yeah,
same
same.
with me. Because when I heard that, I was like, huh, where have I heard those lyrics before?
So, although to us, well to Misha, it's one of her favorites, but to us, it's kind of like, it's a good song. But also to Nate, it is one of his favorites, clearly, if he's referenced it before.
Yes. And actually, I was also going to say that you can hear that specific part is very, like, it kind of sets the precedent, if you will, of, like, Nate's kind of songwriting style. It's like the first preview we see, like, setting that precedent, like, 2 years, 3 years ahead of time. It uses what we call chromatic chords. It ascends down, the chords descend by half a step, which you don't see very often at all. It's a very rare songwriting technique, and only one that can be used if you know what the hell you're doing. Because I know that I couldn't do it. So it's a very interesting thing, and he uses that technique a lot in Paid in Exposure. So it's really interesting to hear that. Then that's the only time it's used in the song. It's very interesting to hear that specific part, like, again, after hearing it so many times in Paid in Exposure. So it's like, it kind of makes sense when you, like, because of that he said that it's his favorite that he's ever written.
Yeah, that's very interesting. He keeps making reference or keeps using examples of that from this song, because it really must have something sort of deeper meaning to him, but it is certainly...
It couldn't have been at the end of the song Sandcastle Kingdoms if it was just about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Ow, don't bite me.
What was that?
My cat's on my lap and she bit my hand.
What a bitch.
Alright, next... The next...
just don't tell like it is.
The next song is Salvaged.
I found my new obsession. Now it's just you and me. You turn away, I'll be right beside you. You cut me off, but I'll always have another way to find you. My body's still mending, you're in for a sight. Another night, but it doesn't get easy, because you're stuck picking up all the pieces that they salvage. No matter what the ending, you won't last the night. I hear you breathing in your...
Alright, Trent, you go first.
This is one of my favorites. Salvaged is just, like... Although I do think he would have saved the name if he knew ahead of time of what was it? Ultimate Custom Night, like, because of the whole salvaged minigame. If he knew that salvaging, like, robots was a thing back in 2015, I don't think he would have called this song Salvaged. The song about FNaF 3, like, I don't know, something about it, and the piano at the start, it's just, it sounds epic to me. I enjoy this song a lot. I enjoy the song immensely. I reckon this was a song where he was really trying to mix up the different type of tones and the different effects he can use, and it made something extraordinary in my opinion. I'm a big fan of that.
Yes, I agree.
Tamisha, what about you?
Well, since the third Five Nights at Freddy's game is actually my favorite, I like a whole lot of other people that don't actually like it that much. So, everything about Salvaged, in my opinion, suits the tone and everything in FNaF 3. So, and the acoustic version of Salvaged I love as well. So, I like everything about Salvaged.
The acoustic version is really nice.
That's one thing I've been accidentally glossing over, the acoustic versions of these songs, because I was just going to reference them during this part, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll get up to
They're
them.
fine. They're fine.
We'll get to them. Alright, and Gus?
Oh god, I love this song. It's great. Like, again, like you said, Trent, it's one of those that I've listened to on repeat a few times. Like, I can just listen to this over and over, and it's cool because Salvaged is such a densely packed song. It's got so much shit. Like, there's that piano, there's, like, fucking guitars aplenty, there's, like, all kinds of shit. And I could listen to it, I mean, probably not anymore, but a while ago, I would listen to it, like, on repeat, and every time I would hear something different. I would hear something that I didn't hear the last time. So, it's so cool, and it's actually something that Nate does really, really well. It's that he makes these really upbeat, up-tempo songs, fast songs, and the really fast lyrics in the chorus, and then combined with those transitioning into the more drawn-out notes in the chorus, is just fantastically done. And it's like, just the chorus in general is amazing. It's probably my favorite part.
The way he connects lyrics is done really well, but it's really hard if you're trying to sing out loud because like they overlap each other sometimes.
That's something that Nate is very guilty of. If he really wants his fans to sing with his songs, he isn't doing a very good job.
I'll talk more about this thing a bit later, but I saw his like a live video of him singing Enjoy the Show live, and like it was so difficult for him to even keep up with all the lyrics because of the amount of time they overlapped. This Salvaged is something really good. This is when I reckon he realized, oh wait, FNaF is very popular. It's getting me a lot of attention. I'm gonna keep it peaking. And as I said, like I've never found like all these songs, I can enjoy them. There's some I prefer more than others, but like I reckon he put some extra detail and attention into the FNaF songs just because he knew of the fan base and he knew there was going to be a lot of attention brought to them. So he didn't mess around with these songs.
And one of the things I like about when it comes to his Five Nights songs compared to a heap of other people, he doesn't add his own little theories into the song. It's legit just what he sees in the game, and it just relates into the song.
That is one important thing, because a lot of people do that, and it's kind of weird and annoying.
And half the time the theories end up being wrong, and it's just like,
yeah.
stop.
So I don't know, I forget when this was released, like, at least in, like, relative to when the third Five Nights at Freddy's game was released, but I know the rumor going around before the game actually came out was that Springtrap's name was going to be Salvage. So that is actually why I think he decided to write a song called Salvaged, because I think, I remember the name, like the rumor going around was that his name was Salvage, but then it ended up being Springtrap. So that could also explain why he called it that.
Any other opinions, or are we gonna continue on?
No, other than that, I think musically, this is one of my favorite songs that Nate has ever done. Just like everything, just like there's like strings, there's piano, the guitars sound amazing, like the fast and then like the fast tempo and then like the lyrics. It's just great. I think musically, maybe not lyrically, but musically, I think this is one of my favorite songs that Nate has ever written.
Alright, moving on.
Next song!
Next song is Nightmare.
Get me out of this mess and away from the stress. Set me free so I can rest. We're only kids who lost our way. But if we wait long enough, then we'll be saved. Just sleep, just dream. This isn't bad, no, we're not just what we see. We wanna fly, but our souls are trapped inside. It's not a game, not to blame, we're falling too high. Just sleep, just dream. It's only a nightmare.
Real shit. Real shit.
Yes.
I love Nightmare, right? Not having nightmares, just the song. Nightmare is a fantastic song, and in my opinion, I actually prefer the acoustic.
Same.
Really?
Both are amazing, but the acoustic speaks volumes.
The acoustic is definitely the prettiest of the four acoustic songs.
Oh yeah.
For sure. For sure.
To me, it speaks volumes, and like, it's just so calm. Like, even though the song's about having a nightmare, the acoustic version is just relaxing to me because of the way Nate sings when he's singing acoustic. It's just, I love it. It's fantastic, and and no faults away from the original song. It is great as well, but I am just one up on the acoustic in my opinion. I just love it.
That's fair. Honestly, I cannot blame you for that.
Yeah. I feel the
Yeah,
same
it's
about the
really,
acoustic.
really, really good. But the original does, I think the original, especially like when it came out, was like really, really good. Like, I remember people, when that came out, there was such a huge overflow of positive reaction, because it was like, it was one of the first Five Nights at Freddy songs that was both sad and also like had this epic kind of feel with the music. Because if it was epic sounding, then it was usually like angry or told from the viewpoint of like the robots or whatever. Or if it was sad, then it was like overly, like the music was also very sad, like with the like maybe just a piano, or like one of Mando Pony's songs at the time had been released around the same time. Stuff like
Balloons,
that.
I think it was.
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
So if you took Nate's vocals away and just had the instrumental of Nightmare, you could probably put like any sort of angry vocals on top of it and it wouldn't sound out of place. But the fact that it had these lyrics that were really like, well, maybe not during the verses. The verses are really a lot more light, but the chorus is like where you could put that heavy stuff or the angry stuff, and it wouldn't really sound as much out of place. But the fact that it was also like really sad and like kind of this melancholic thing that had never been done before was very interesting. And it was an unprecedented thing. Like, no one had ever tried something like that before. So the overwhelming positive reaction to that song in particular, I think, was deserved.
One of my favorites again. Anyway, the fact that it was one of the first ones to stop going from the animatronics or the security guards. This one was legit 100% from the kids. It's like, because FNaF 3 was the one that showed, oh yeah, you remember these kid things that we've been hinting at? Yeah, it's a bigger part in this. And yeah, just to see Nightmare and then Balloons as well go to that part of the story and the whole lore behind it, it made me really, really like the song. And at the time when it was released, I was just like, oh my god, this one's my favorite. And I listened to it to non-stop and repeat for quite a long time. That's all.
One thing I reckon is that one thing Nate has gotten really good at doing more recently is that he's been able to write lyrics that kind of relate to the topic the song's about, but also be like a general source thing, like where anyone could kind of relate to it. Like, I reckon if you didn't put this, like, you didn't put Five Nights at Freddy's in front of this, you could reckon, and show this to someone, you could reckon, like, I reckon they would say this is just a sad, emotional song. But, like, it doesn't, it's not exactly Five Nights at Freddy's related, but it is still a fantastic piece of music. And I enjoy this immensely.
It's actually, like, one of those, like, it's so interesting, like, the instrumental part towards the beginning, like, when it starts to break down, it's almost like it doesn't quite fit the mood, you know, with that really heavy, low guitar. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, it almost like it doesn't fit, but then when, like, you listen to the whole thing, it's like, it becomes part of the song for you. Like, the first time you listen to it is like, huh, that guitar is a little out of place. But then, as you get used to it, it's like, oh, that's just where it, like, breaks down. Or maybe, like, you know, you just associate it with the whole song. It's interesting, you know? I don't know. Something like that. Words.
Words, indeed. Alright. Moving on is the song Home. Home. I am a little indecisive about Home. It's Not a bad song, but compared to every other FNaF song I've heard, even from Nate Wants to Battle, it doesn't sound like a FNaF song to me.
Interesting.
Sounds like it belongs with a different franchise almost, in my opinion. Like, it makes sense in the context of the story and what, like, FNaF up until this point was trying to, like, what the story was and what it was trying to tell. It makes sense. It's just the tone of the song in general to me. It doesn't sound exactly like a FNaF song, but it's still a really good piece of music. I still enjoy it.
Yes.
What about you, Tamisha?
Well, I like Home. It's not one of my favorites, but it's one of the ones I will listen to without paying full attention to it. But yeah, I don't really listen to Home that much, so I don't have a big opinion on Home.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's probably on the same level as No More for me. It's like it didn't really stand out, but it's certainly not bad. It's actually quite good. But it's like Home is the song that like couldn't quite figure out what it wanted to be, right? Because the first, like the opening is, and that instrumental at the beginning is really like melancholic. Uses like all these fucking huge like really strange chords, and then the first verse is really pleasant to listen to, and then it breaks into this huge chorus, which is like, oh yeah, that's awesome, and then it moves into the second verse, and you kind of expect it to move back down again, but it kind of stays upbeat. You know, it doesn't change back. It doesn't go back down between the first and second chorus, and perhaps that's made up for by the ending. You know, with the really really like darkened piano and the low vocals. Maybe that's what made up for it, but like just it should have gone. I think it should have gone back down for the second verse, but it kind of stayed like on this higher, like a more upbeat kind of song. It kept the heavy guitars in, and it probably should have dropped them like the first verse. You know?
Yeah, it was a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah, it felt like it didn't, like the song itself didn't know what it wanted to be, because if you listen to that second, you could believe from the like types of rock music that are out nowadays, if you listen to the chorus and then the ending, you could be like, oh yeah, that I could see that as the same song. But then if you would like listen to the second verse and then the ending, you'd be like, wait, what? That's the same song?
I feel like if you put like a different instrumental to the beginning of the first verse, like it could almost sound like a pop song almost. Like I reckon you could change like the opening lyrics. If you just change the instrumental there to like something with more of a pop feel, you could be like, oh yeah, this is a little bit of a pop song almost. But that's to me at least. But it definitely is inconsistent all around. But it's like the chorus.
It's a good piece of writing. Like it's still really enjoyable.
Yes. Alright. Moving right along to
next meme.
I think it was meant to be the end, but it never was. This is the end.
Oops.
Okay, so this is the end. Not my favorite. It's good, but I don't... Okay, this is my opinion. I don't think Nate does growling well. Like...
Really?
No. It might just be me, because considering how, like, considering how his voice is normally, like, when I hear him sing, like, and I think it's really good, just him going deeper and growly like this at the start, I don't think it worked. Like, I knew what he was going for, because like, he was trying to be the fucking angry man animatronic. I completely get what he was going for. And the chorus is fantastic, and even the post-chorus was good, and like, continuing on, everything was good. It's just the opening just did not sound like... It didn't sound like... It didn't work for me, the opening. It just... I don't know.
Really?
No,
I remember the thing it was for me about this song was this was pretty much my first exposure to growling vocals like that, to screaming vocals. So when I heard it, I was like, whoa, shit. So I thought it sounded good, and listening back to it, it's like, I feel like the production is good enough to make his growls, like, passable. I'm sure I know Nate himself probably doesn't like to do them. They're hell on your voice. But, yeah, like, I feel like the production was good enough on this song to kind of allow it to fit into the song as a whole. So I think, at the time, it really worked for me. I really liked it. Listening back to it, I think, if someone else had done that screaming at the beginning, it would have turned out a lot better.
Yeah. What about you, Tamachee?
This one is the only one I don't like. So, I like the chorus, but I don't like... I just don't like how the rest of it sounds.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
So,
it's not for everyone.
Yeah. No, I understand that. It's just... It's kind of like the other song. It's inconsistent. It starts off growling like...
Yeah, it's another one of those that couldn't decide what it wanted to be, because it started off really, really heavy, and then after, like, the second verse was like not.
Yeah, it dropped down and stayed down again. It was kind of like the polar opposite of polar opposite of Home. Like when it started off low, this one starts off like deep and angry, and then it just
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, decent song.
Yeah, I enjoy it for what it is. You know, it's good. One thing I also like, another thing is Nate does really, really well is not the screaming vocals, but like when he just fucking belts shit, like at the the post-chorus thing, like when he's like, what's it? I think We're Voices in Your Head or something like that. Like, those vocals sound great. He's great at those. When he does those, he sounds fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree, because that part was definitely alright. Like, one thing I also enjoy that he does is his like, those fucking noises. Like...
I love those noises. In all metal music, it's just like, I always look forward to hearing those. It's like...
Yeah, he's exceptional at that.
He's great. Another thing that I really like about this song is the guitar, which is fucking insane.
I didn't pay much attention to the guitar.
Yeah, you don't really have to, because it does its job so well. It creates that really heavy vibe. But the problem is that I tried to learn to play it on guitar. That's where everything just broke apart for me. It was ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. Like, I don't know how anyone would come up with the kind of shit that was the guitar playing of that song. Anyway, yeah, don't learn to play it unless you're really feeling like you want to kill yourself.
Thanks for the recommendation. I'll stay clear. Any final opinions?
Could I? No.
Nope.
Nope.
Alright, the next song, which we thought was gonna be the end of it all, but it wasn't, the finale.
Be one of us now. Five nights at Freddy's. Now it's the finale, and you're ready. Don't cry, we're not so scary. Don't make a scene, and we'll end this quickly. Maybe you just lost your mind. Kicking and screaming, now you lost your time. But we all know you're said and done.
I love this one.
Weird that a song called The Finale is track 7.
Yeah. Yes.
Shit.
The finale, I enjoyed because this one knew what it wanted to be. This one
Correct.
stayed consistent, and I rather enjoyed it. And even though it is exclusively a Five Nights at Freddy's song, unlike some of the others, because literally the chorus is Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, but even though it's an exclusively a Five Nights at Freddy's song, I really enjoyed it. And even like after, I think it was the second chorus where he was going on like where voices in your head, where monsters under your bed, like, and going on like that. Like everything, it flows a lot better.
Yes, it does.
I agree.
It's not one of my favorites, but it is very enjoyable. I do like the song a lot.
It's like it did know what it wanted to be, right? Because it had like 4 verses. It went through each, like, basically each Five Nights at Freddy's game and the song that Nate had associated with each one. And it went through, it recycled lyrics from those. It knew what it wanted to be. It was supposed to wrap everything up. It didn't. That doesn't take away from the song, right? It still goes through each one of those games and basically recounts the basic idea of each of the songs that Nate wrote based on that one, which is really cool. And he somehow manages to make it flow the whole time and seem like one cohesive song, which is somehow, I don't know how he did that. It's amazing.
Most of these songs I would generally headbang to. This is one of the few where the beat actually makes me want to like shuffle and dance, like Five Nights. They're just fucking shuffling, fucking dancing around. Like this is like a little more upbeat, and I enjoyed it.
It's one of the like, it's actually like one of the like. It's hard. One thing that I will say is it's really difficult to pull off something like this when it comes to like, I think, what is the word I'm looking for? Anyway, it's like Nate hadn't written a lot of songs quite like this one before that. Like, this is his first of like this kind of style where it's like, it's a lot more like, you can hear elements of like things like Paid in Exposure in this song because of like the very steady beat of the drums, like the way he plays guitar, and even like some of his vocals. Like this is like the start of all of that from later on. Like, and this one was so different from the rest of his FNaF songs that it just stood out like a fucking pink. What's a good thing that I can compare it? What's an analogy? What's not pink?
Red? What?
Fuck!
What?
I'm trying to. It stands out, right? Trying to say that it stands out. This one stands out a whole lot compared to his last the last 6 Five Nights at Freddy's songs. This one stands out a lot.
And to make sure, I swear we're not ignoring you. We're just like talking. What is your opinion on this?
It's all
song?
good. Nah, it's one of my favorite ones as well. Just because it's like a mashup of all the other songs beforehand, and then it flows. And I just really like this song. Like,
sometimes opinions don't have to be complicated.
Exactly.
I like the song. That's all.
Yes.
Goodbye.
See, that's the one thing I didn't notice, because as I said, I got into Nate through Enjoy the Show. So I didn't, even though it's titled The Finale, I didn't realize it was a roundup song. I just thought it was a really fucking good song. But I didn't realize that there was a bunch of reference lyrics and all that. So learning that is interesting. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the finale. And so, Tamisha, your favorites are No More and the finale thus far?
No More, Salvaged, and the finale, and the Nightmare Acoustic. They're my favorite ones.
Yeah, very good. And Gus, what are your favorites so far?
I think so. Well, so far I'm on. I think Mangled, Salvaged, and Nightmare are my 3 favorites.
Alright, next. Now we're getting into the territory I'm more familiar with. Enjoy the Show featuring Jacksepticeye.
Never end. I'll make believe that you can see everything they did to me. When I
Now, this song is the song that got me into Nate Wants to Battle, and probably because of that nostalgia of... This is the first song I heard from him. This is one of my favorites. Because as I said before, Sister Location was the first game I actually went through and played in its entirety. Like, I've attempted FNaF 1, I've attempted Ultimate Custom Night, I've attempted Pizza Simulator, and I couldn't complete them because I'm a little wuss. But Sister Location, I love story-driven games, and because it was primarily story-driven instead of fully fear-driven, I got into it. There's a Trent Plays video of me on YouTube where I'm going to plug myself. I recorded it and put it up, and although I was being over the top in the video, I thoroughly did enjoy the game, and I enjoy the song. And I just remember looking through the comments and seeing a bunch of people like, "Oh, where is Jack's singing part?" And everyone's just like, "Jack was in the intro, you dickhead. He didn't sing." And I don't blame him at all because I don't imagine Jack singing. But Nate wants this song. Ugh, it's just the way everything blends together, and then just kind of. I think the instrumental of this song is one of the best he's ever done. It's just because the different tones and the different effects that are you can hear during the chorus, and that's why I love your instrumental of it, Gus. That's why I used it for a while in some of my Tekken videos. It's because the instrumental of Enjoy the Show is spectacular as well.
This song fucking murders.
Oof.
It's great.
And literally, by the end,
you're fucking dead.
The last 30 seconds where it's dunna, dunna, and then it's trust me till the end, and it's the dunna, dunna. I imagine someone fucking getting their head, neck snapped at each dunna, dunna, dunna. It's just fucking great. I love Enjoy the Show. Now, your opinions, Tamisha, your opinions.
I don't really listen to this song that much, because around this time is when I started listening to a heap of other songs on Spotify, so I haven't heard much of Enjoy the Show, but I do like it, from the intro into, I guess it's the bridge, how it's just we need you and all that. That's one of my favorite parts of the song. So
yeah, just another reference is when he says when he's saying the lyrics that of the words that Baby said during the game, trust me to the end, and all that. The way he pronounces it makes him sound psychotic, and it's just fucking. As you said, this song murders. It is in my opinion that it murders. And fair enough on the point, Tamisha. Didn't listen to it much. That's absolutely fair, but. Yeah, I'm still a massive fan of Enjoy the Show.
Same.
So, as someone who has listened to this song extensively...
Actually, I didn't watch the entirety of your live stream of you making the instrumental, but
Yeah, that was an interesting time, because so many people had requested me to, do a making of video. And so I was like, well, okay, how hard can it be? And it ended up being fucking 2 hours or some shit, and well, this is great. God, it's so interesting. It's it's another one of those songs that you can kind of hear elements of how Nate writes his songs now. You can hear those in this song, with this intro. Actually, what's interesting, the intro of this song reminds me kind of at least for the music video, the intro to Phantom, because it kind of starts out with slow, right, and these drawn out guitars, and then it fucking kicks off, you know?
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually a good comparison. I didn't ever think of that, but that's actually a good
comparison. Yeah, so that's what it reminds me of. So it's and it's another one of those that proves that you don't have to be overly complex to be good, because it's really not that complicated of a song. The only thing that I even had trouble with, as far as recreating the song was the noises at the beginning, because I didn't know what the fuck they were. That was like my only issue. So it uses a fairly simple like progression of chords. It's not a complicated song. The chorus repeats that melody that it uses a bit, like when it repeats those lyrics. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. It's a fucking banger, dude. And when it goes into that like genty part or whatever you call it, with the like you mentioned, Trent, at the end, someone snapping their neck, like, that shit's fucking good. And just like the overall vibe of this song is like almost like,
it definitely puts you in an underground factory.
Yes, it does. But it's so like interesting because like the intro is like with Jack, it's like you're at a circus or something. But the thing is,
his Irish accent helps with that.
Yes, it does. I agree. It's like, it's almost like you're at a circus or something, but that was never really a part of the game itself. So it's almost like it's a different twist on what could have been the game, but wasn't actually the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But yeah, I like this song a lot. Really enjoyable.
Alrighty. That's...
Moving on. Next meme.
We got a few songs left, and we're breaching an hour. Let's get this going.
Next meme.
I'm trying to find a difference. They're turning all the same. There isn't nothing left, nothing to my name. I swore that this was the last time. The madness never ends up in my mind. I'm ableist, it makes me sick, and I can't leave till it's done. I patiently wait the day.
So Madness is a very interesting song. And when I say that, the reason I say that is because it's very unlike anything Nate has written up until this point. The only song that he's ever written that I can compare to this at all is the one he wrote about Doki Doki Literature Club. Those are like,
Delete me.
those two kind of align for me, but this is very different than any song, especially on this album, because it's a lot more like, how do you say this? It's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to look for the words, and I can't find the words. But yeah, the intro is really interesting with the like kind of frantic sounding guitars. But one thing is that the chorus is actually like pretty dang good in this song. And especially the pre-chorus, I actually really like that as well. I can't remember the lyrics off the top of my head, but yeah, this is a great song. I don't know if it's like, for me, I don't think it's on that same level as like Salvaged and Enjoy the Show and all them, but it's very close.
Yeah, for me, I think I just listened to the song on repeat when it first came out, because like, this was around the time where I was getting a lot, like, I listened to Enjoy the Show and I was downloading a bunch of like my favorite music from artists that I knew. Madness came out for me around the time where I was getting into newer rock albums from like artists, either from artists I knew or from other artists, and it just kind of like, it was consistent. It just stayed it stayed on its path, and it was just a fantastic song for me. And I love the chorus, like the way he goes from like kind of bridging on getting higher pitch, and then he just goes up for it, and he's like, and it just fucking, oh.
Yeah. See, that's also what I meant when I talked about This Is the End. Like those kinds of vocals, he does those really, really well.
Yeah, like if I try to sing this in the car, I will fucking destroy my throat.
Yeah, that's fucking hell on your voice.
Yeah, no, and then even like when it brings it back down after the chorus, you're right. Like when he brings it back down after the chorus, no, he doesn't bring it back down afterwards. I don't know if it's still part of the chorus.
The bridge, I think you're thinking of.
When
It's
Like, I could never
why
escape,
can't
like-
I get out? That one.
No, like, I could never escape my fate. Now I'm never getting out. And then there's like a little
yeah, that's
growl
part of
with
the
the,
chorus.
and then when he says I'm losing sight, and then there's like a little bit of music again, and like it just blends back down perfectly.
Yes, it does.
I think the song it stays in its lane and it works very well.
Yeah. That's one thing you can say about Madness, is that it knows what it wants to be. It doesn't go outside that, and that's fantastic, you know? It doesn't try to be anything more than what it is, and that's great.
Alright. Tamisha, have you heard it yet?
I'm listening to it again, but yeah, I don't know how I missed this song. But I really don't know how. But I do like it. It's like not one of my favorites, but I do like it. And it is very different to the other ones. But yeah, no, I do like it, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
What you relating it to Delete Me earlier. Like, you're right. Delete
Yep.
Me and Madness, they come kind of on the same path of, like, a little bit more intense almost. It's like,
Yeah.
ugh, I fucking...
And also, that one was also very consistent. I think that is actually this song's strong suit, is that it's very consistent. And also, the other strong suit is its lyricism. I think its lyrics are really interesting. Although the only one that I think is on par with this one lyrically is actually No More, which we didn't mention. But yeah, No More is really strong lyrically, and I think those two are on par at the top as far as lyrics go. Maybe with Nightmare as well.
Alright. Moving on to the new 3 songs.
What's the first one?
One Way Ticket.
Ooh.
I have opinions.
Ooh. Go on.
So, when Nate announced that he was releasing 3 new songs for the Ultimate Collection album, in my mind, I was a little bit like, well, because before he's released songs in relation to games being released, but then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's got 3 new songs. So in my mind, I thought, are these songs gonna be like more of the types that can relate to anything but are primarily about FNaF? Or are they going to somehow be on the topic of the newer games but also be a little bit like more wide? Since there's a bunch of lore, a bunch of like knowledge about the games now, and the story is so vast, like you basically could try and make something new, but it could have a bunch of references to the older games and the older songs. I kind of felt like these 3 songs were kind of like it could be anything, but One Way Ticket definitely sounds like something that was for I think, was it Pizzeria Simulator, where at the end everyone burned?
Yes, that was the one at the end of 6.
Yes, I believe One Way Ticket to me sounds like it's fit for that game, and it works very well. I do think it's a good song. Like the build up to it at the start, where the volume starts low, then it gets higher with the guitar, and then immediately he hits the One Way Ticket to Hell, and he holds the word hell for so long. It just is a very good song.
Badass.
It's a very good song, and like I reckon he was trying to blend the more tame lyrics and the more like the first verse is so dope, but I reckon
Yes, it is. It is dope.
he tried very hard to blend it all, and it worked. Like I think this is a good song. It's not my favorite of the new 3. I'll tell you that soon. I'll tell you what it is soon. But One Way Ticket.
I think you and I are on the same page, Trent.
Yes, I think we are.
I think I know which one you're thinking
But
of.
One Way Ticket is still very enjoyable. I do like it.
Yeah, I agree. This one is, I think, it's certainly one of the heavier ones, which I always appreciate seeing from Nate, especially out of his new stuff, where he's kind of moved away from the heavier stuff, especially with his new album, Paid in Exposure. So I always like seeing heavy stuff from Nate. And the first verse, remember I said enjoy the show murders? The first verse murders your face off. It is so good.
You can hear him when he's yelling hell. You can
He's
feel the
literally
fire burning your
fucking,
face.
Like,
Yes, you can like that first verse. Imagine how much fucking power in his vocals that must have taken. It's ridiculous. Like, it sounds so good. And and it actually, it flows pretty smoothly from that really heavy, like, fucking, kind of, like, screaming, yelling first verse to a much more melodic chorus, which is really cool that he has that melodic chorus in there.
I reckon, like, I said Enjoy the Show had a fantastic instrumental. I reckon One Way Ticket is on par with that because it aids the lyrics so well. Like, it just,
yes,
it
does.
fits so perfectly like a fucking puzzle piece. It's just like, it was meant for this.
Yes.
It works really well. Tamisha, what are your opinions on One Way Ticket? We keep ignoring you and no, Savi.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, out of the three new ones, I like One Way Ticket about the second most, I reckon. I don't know. But, yeah, do agree that it seems like it suits FNaF 6 a lot more than Ultimate Custom Night. And I really like the start of it, when he screams like hell and all that. I like that too. It's really cool.
Hell! Yeah. Scream.
Hell!
Scream into the void.
Dope.
Yeah, I think the thing about the One Way Ticket to Hell, I think that's in reference to how Ultimate Custom Night is supposedly about Purple Guy, whatever the fuck his name is. I can't remember off the top of my head. How he's supposedly trapped in hell or whatever and has to repeatedly suffer through the Custom Night. Wasn't that the theory, the lore, whatever the fuck it was? Something along those lines. Something along those lines.
Theory videos, so.
The lore is like how Ultimate Custom Night, because you keep dying over and over, and some of the
Yeah.
animatronics say like this is a nightmare you won't wake up from. Like they keep saying you're gonna
Yeah.
experience this over and over again.
So so while I do think it does fit FNaF 6, it could also fit with Ultimate Custom Night, like with the hell kind of thing. So, but yeah, and again, I'll mention this over and over, songs don't have to be that complex to be good. I don't know why people think that they do, because this song, if you listen to the instrumental, that literally has only a couple differences. It has that first opening with the huge guitars, it has the chorus, it has the bridge, and then like the second verse. There's only like a few different actual parts of the instrumental. Pretty much all of it is repeated at some point.
I noticed the majority of it is just a dun dun or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just the same. It is a very repetitive.
Yeah, a lot of the elements in the song are repeated, and so it just shows you don't have to make it all that complicated. Like I don't know, I've met some people who think like songs have to be like really like complicated and use all these different things to be good songs. I'm just like, dude, you're just wrong.
And any final opinions on One Way Ticket? Or everyone's happy?
It's fucking dope. That's all.
Yep,
That's all, yeah.
agreed. Okay, next song, Obsolete. Now,
Go on, Trent. This is all
My
you, buddy.
favorite one!
okay, good. Do we all agree?
Yes, we do.
Yes! Fuck yes! Obsolete! How fantastic is Obsolete? Like,
Really, really good.
when I said at the beginning of the other song of A One-Way Ticket, how it seemed like some of these, like at least two of these three songs could have been in, like, as a general retrospect of the whole series, like, because I didn't think they weren't coming out with a release of a game like he did for the others, so I thought they could have just been, like, a general census of Five Nights at Freddy's. Obsolete definitely fits that mold, but fuck me, I don't care. This is such a good song.
It's really, really good. You know, have you, like, okay, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Fuck, this song is the perfect tempo when, like, okay, Spotify has this, like, playlist they made, it's called Walk Like a Badass. This song is literally the perfect tempo to walk to, and your feet, like, my feet hit the ground with each beat of this song. It's like, yeah, it's literally perfect. So, anyway, I've done that far too much that I would care to admit. But, yeah, it's another one of those, it's not that complicated. In fact, the first verse instrumental and the second verse instrumental are exactly the same. Even though the vocals are different, the first verse and the second verse are the same, and even the intro has the same chord progression as the chorus. So there's even less repeated parts in this song than there was in the last one. And it's still fucking fantastic.
Yes. Tamisha, you seem to enjoy this as well.
I've listened to this on repeat since it came out. So, this one's my favorite one. And
Yeah.
it more so reminds me of, like, what Salvaged and all that sounded like to me when I first heard it. Like, it's just up there and one of my favorites. And it doesn't even fully need to relate to Five Nights at Freddy's either. Like,
it's one of those that could relate to Five Nights at Freddy's, it could relate to anything else, and then on top of that, like, you said it kind of sounds like the way Salvaged was when, like, you would first hear that back when it came out. Like, I reckon it kind of, like, incorporates everything. Like, it's kind of a reference to his older music. Like, it works with Salvaged and Madness even. And then it also fits the new mold, and it's just, it's so good.
Again, it's another one of those songs where its strong suit is consistency. It's very consistent. One of the, probably, I would go so far as to say it's the most consistent song on the album. It knows exactly what the fuck it is, you know, and even the ending is like, it makes sense, you know, like it fits with the song, because like the verses are pretty atmospheric. There's not a lot of instruments going on. It's pretty much just the drums, bass, and like this little atmospheric like sound effects going on in the background. There's not a whole lot going on, but. And so, like, that's why the outro kind of fits, because even though there's, like, no drums and the vocals are low, it really brings the song out, like, with that emotional ending that it needed.
Just makes it a little bit more unique.
Yes.
I kind of wish this one was the last one.
It's like that emotional payoff at the end. Even though it's not actually the last one. It should have been, though.
Yeah, it should have been. Just because...
Yeah, I agree.
All the lyrics for this song as well, like the whole "I'm human just like you," all the stuff about replacing parts and all that, just all of that.
It can definitely relate more than just FNaF. Like, I can tell, like, a lot of it can hit other places more than just, these are my FNaF senses tingling. Like, this can be an emotion.
Man, I love songs about furry robots and shit. Woo!
No, fuck.
I love songs about furry robots coming to try and kill
fuck
you.
Yeah! But this just hits a new level.
Yeah, this is really good.
Obsolete is fantastic. I'm glad we all agree.
It is.
Now, the last song, apart from
Just came out today.
Yes, just came out today at the time of recording. Apart from the acoustics, of course, this is the last song. Count the Teeth.
We all can't find a way to play this game. Is it all the same? All these nights you look, but you never seem to to be put back together. And all my friends and all that you're not one of them. Count the teeth, but the hair in their face. And all these nights you look, but you never found a way. A clear way out of this place. Took your ball, hide behind these walls. You let me in, now you never ever.
I'll let you go first, because I have some shit.
That's okay. Count the Teeth. Now, this is the song I feel like it's more like, okay, this is the series here. Have some references and hey, have some music. Like, I feel like this song's good. This song's good, like, and it definitely it flows well. But I haven't heard. I don't know. It just came out today. I've heard it a couple times, but it's just like it doesn't hit the same chord with me as a lot of the other songs. But it's definitely still a good song. I do enjoy it.
I'm listening to it for a second time quickly, but yeah, it's not. I like it, and it does suit the whole Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's about it for me on it. So I don't have a big opinion on it right now because it's just been released. So
I think he purposely wanted to call it Count the Teeth just so he could have Balloon Boy, like Demon Balloon Boy, with the fucking angry teeth as a thumbnail. But
6 different mouths.
yeah, here's the other thing though, like what I was saying about how these 3 songs could be in relation to anything FNaF. Like he literally didn't he title Obsolete Help Wanted / Ultimate Custom Night or something like that?
It was Help Wanted, I think. Just Help Wanted.
Help Wanted.
Help Wanted is the new VR.
Yeah,
FNaF
yeah,
that's
I
coming
know
out.
it's the new VR game, but like he's putting Demon Balloon Boy in the cover on the thumbnail of Count the Teeth. Yeah, it's a Help Wanted song. Like
Well, actually, what I've discovered is that it's a searchability thing. So it's all about, if you read Nate's descriptions, they're fucking wild because it's like rock music song cover whatever. Like it's not actual sentences. It's the searchability element to it. Like when people search for shit on YouTube, there's a variation of shit they could actually look up. They could look up rock cover, they could look up rock song, whatever. Like, so he's putting all these words in like this fucking weird combination. It's just to increase that searchability. And I actually had that epiphany recently because in one of my videos, it wasn't doing all that hot. It was an English cover of a Japanese song. It wasn't doing all that great, and then it blew up as soon as I added the Japanese title of the song in the description.
Ha.
So that's why I figured out it was a searchability thing. So it's all about getting them clicks.
No, fair enough.
That's all.
Like that was the one thing I feared when he announced 3 extra songs. Like I'm like, fuck yeah, 3 new songs. But then I thought, wait a minute, they're not really in correlation with a game release. So are they just going to be like generic or whatever? That was my initial fear. But none of these are generic. I can fucking tell you that right now.
Right.
None of these are generic songs. Count the Teeth though, like out of the 3, I reckon I'm a little bit meh. It's good. It's like, for me, it's on par with Home and all that. It's like, I'll listen to it, but it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Okay, so I think I've got my thoughts collected. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So basically, I like it, right? So I think it's a really good song, but listening to it independent of the lyrics, like, right, if you were to just listen to the instrumental, you wouldn't the last thing you would guess is that this song is based on Five Nights at Freddy's. It doesn't quite feel like a Five Nights at Freddy's song without the references, right? So this is basically like showing us where Nate's style, like the last 3 songs, I think, have basically just been a fucking like a showcase of Nate's songwriting style. So you did the heavy one with the heavy one with One Way Ticket, the more emotional, slower one with Obsolete, and then now the swing, jazzy one with this one. You know what I mean? So it's like, and this is very Paid in Exposure to me. If you put this on Paid in Exposure, it wouldn't have been out of place. Because Paid in Exposure was already such a diverse album as it is. You could have fucking thrown this on here and it would just be like, oh, well, it's fucking there. Yeah. So, this, just because of this whole, like, the way, the actual writing of the song, it's a swing song, it's got these really, like, like higher guitar chords as opposed to the lower ones that he likes to use especially that he used with the other two songs. It's like, so it's good, right? I enjoy it a lot, but it's like not quite what I imagine a Five Nights at Freddy's song should be, you know?
Yeah. It's unique in a way that it doesn't sound like a FNaF song. It sounds like...
Yeah.
You're right, definitely this is more related to Paid and Exposure. Like, it definitely sounds like it's more Paid and Exposure than FNaF.
It's mostly the swing for me. Do y'all know what I'm referring to when I say swing? I can explain real quick. So, basically, when I say swing song, there's a certain division of the beats. In normal, right? So let's say I have like a beat like this, right? So here's the beat. In a normal song, when you divide those in two, it sounds like this, right? So you divide those beats in half. But when you talk about a swing song, if you divide that beat again, it sounds more like this. So that's what I mean when I say swing. So you'll hear that a lot in Paid and Exposure. I think I can probably name most of the songs that are swing off the top of my head, because I covered them all.
Don't, because we're like fucking hour 10 into it, alright?
Yeah, because I covered them all. But yeah, so that's why this reminds me of Paid and Exposure. So, I don't know, it just doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the album, but I'm not going to complain that it's on there because it's still a good song, you know?
What about you? Wait, oh yeah, Tamachee, you already said what you thought.
I already gave my opinion.
Oof. That was like, I've listened to it today, I was like, what? What?
Fair enough. Well,
Yeah,
it's alright. To be honest, like I said, with the rest of these songs, I enjoy them. It's just, there's a few I prefer more than others. Quickly,
Yeah,
out of the 4 acoustics, like, just what are your general opinions on them? Because for me, I love Mangled's acoustic. I think it just sounds nice. Salvaged was alright. No More was meh, and then Nightmare's my favorite.
Fine. Yeah, Nightmare's my favorite.
Yeah, Nightmare's my
Yeah,
favorite.
one thing I think we all mentioned that Nightmare was our favorite, so
Yeah.
that should be fine.
And then I like
but
the Salvaged
one thing-
acoustic. And then
Fuck.
Mangled and No More.
I need to drink a water.
They're a bit meh for me, so.
Mangled and No More are meh for you, but you like the Salvaged one.
Yeah.
Yep, fair enough.
Salvage and Nightmare are like my boys.
Yeah, one thing I will say that I really like about the acoustics is that when you do an acoustic version of a song, you're basically breaking it down musically. You're breaking it down to its bare, like, components. So that's what, when you listen to an acoustic version, right, you could hear a song all you want. And you'd be like, say you listen to Salvage, right? You hear all this shit, whoa, that's fucking complicated. And then you go and listen to the acoustic version, and you realize, huh, that's actually just not really that as complicated as I thought, because it's really all just made out of these, like, it's just a bunch of shit piled on top of each other, and it's, with the acoustics, you're breaking it down to its, like, bare minimum, just like the chord progression. So when you listen to those acoustics, you're just hearing what the song was built off of, and that's what I really like about the acoustic stuff. Plus, Nate's vocals on the acoustics are all excellent.
Yes.
He does a very good job. Alright.
Indeed.
Well, now that we've discussed the full album, both of you name your top 3 songs. Tamachee, go.
Oh god, top 3, holy shit.
Me first. Salvaged, Obsolete, Nightmare acoustic.
Lovely.
Wait, hold on, I gotta fucking think.
Okay, fine. I'll do mine then.
Yeah.
My top 3. This is gonna sound really stupid because of the way I talked about them, but Enjoy the Show, Madness, and Obsolete. I know I didn't give Madness that higher praise, but just something about it is just consistent and great.
You did mention that you really liked it.
Yeah, like, I reckon
So-
Enjoy the Show just because of the nostalgia, Obsolete because it's fucking awesome, and then Madness is third. But straight fourth is Nightmare Acoustic, like, if I had to say fourth.
Yeah, Nightmare Acoustic is really, really nice. I think I'm I'm with you guys. I'm definitely with you guys on Obsolete. I think Salvaged is up there for me as well, and then maybe. God, I can't even think. God, maybe like I would say probably Enjoy the Show out of all of them. I like Enjoy the Show a lot.
Yeah, because out of all of them that came out, like after I got into Nate Wants to Battle after Enjoy the Show, like out of all the songs that came out and of all the songs previous, like normally when an artist released a new album, there will always be at least one song on the album that I listen to on repeat. Like like for Skillet Unleashed, it was Feel Invincible, and then it was
What a good song.
Then it was one of the others, and then for
Burn
Nate Wants,
It Down for me on that one.
yeah, for Nate
I
Wants,
like Burn It Down.
Burn It Down was good, yeah. But for Nate Wants to Battle, when Madness came out, that was on repeat for me on my headphones while I was writing, and Obsolete was as well.
I could see how those two, especially, would be really good songs to like focus on something, too, especially writing.
Because for me, like
We praise them for their consistency. We praise them both for their consistency. I think that's probably what it is, right? Because when something's very consistent, like, I think what distracts, like, that's an interesting thing about music, too. When it changes a bunch, it takes our attention away from, like, what we could be working on. But when it's very consistent like that, it's like we already know what to expect. There's nothing's going to change. This is how it is, and you can just focus on whatever you're doing.
So if I'm writing, if I'm writing just like a typical, oh yeah, this is a dope fight scene, I'll listen to Madness or something. But if I'm listening to, fuck, this is like if I want to get, if I'm writing something that's, oh fuck, this is emotional, I'll listen to Obsolete. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
sadness, and I'm fucking typing this shit out.
Sadness!
And I'm like,
Look at that.
yeah, but it's just such a good song. It just gets me in the mood for writing a particular style. Like, Enjoy the Show, although I fucking think it's a banger, I wouldn't really listen to it to write, but I still think, I would have head banging in the car, I'd probably fucking ram into the back of the guy in front of me. But
Enjoy this, yeah, dude. Enjoy. I do that a lot, freaking out the guy in the car in front of me when I'm headbanging. Oh yeah, they always give me weird looks. But one of my favorite things about Enjoy the Show is when it kicks off in the first verse. It's like when it goes, "Enjoy the show," and then it just fucking all hell breaks loose. That's one of the coolest parts of the song for me.
Alright, yeah, so this song,
That's all.
this
Anyway, we
video...
stopped talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. This has clearly gone off the rails.
Yes.
It's time we stop.
Yes, thank you,
Someone stop us, please.
thank you, Silver Storm and Sir Tamachee.
You're
for
very
joining
welcome.
me.
You're welcome.
And although I came up with this idea like 2 hours ago, and you were both fucking up for it, so thank you very much.
Yeah,
this is gonna be
naturally.
this is gonna be a bitch to edit, but I'm going to fucking do it before I go to work and upload it when the album comes out. I'm going to put fucking Help Wanted / Ultimate Custom Light / VR / all that shit in the description, and I'm gonna get them clicks, boy.
Those clicks,
I'm gonna
Trent.
get them clicks. Alright. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to these two in the description down below. The chat, you see the links there. Thank you very much for watching. This is Tran-the-Y signing out. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you and shit.